And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Well, not live, it's pre-recorded, of course. I make that same mistake every time I introduce this a new episode. Welcome to the Mike Aquino podcast. This is episode 2 of season 3. I hope that you guys are in a good state despite being still in the middle of a pandemic right now. And I hope that you and your family are slowly easing into this new normal. I honestly haven't gotten around to accepting it as a new normal. As you may know, ako ay isang host, a live host, and I do a lot of, like my thing is getting people together, and we still can't get people together in the same way that we used to. So I'm still praying for that day that we can turn 50 into 100, 200, 300 people in a banquet whenever there's a wedding or there's a party. Anyway, right now we have a guest who has been I can't say she's a friend of mine, but she's definitely more than a friend. Not like that, but she's definitely been more than a friend because I've known her for so long. Bata pa ako. I think I was in my 20s, no? I think I was in my yeah, that was my early 20s. Not even. Like I'm 37 now. But I've known our guest for tonight for as long as I've lived, as long as I think that was my adolescent years. So she is like family to me, and having her on the show is such a pleasure and an honor at the same time. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome to you Angie Aquino. Oh my God, hi Ange.
Hi, good evening. How are
Good
you?
evening. Gosh, Ange, first off, nagkakilala tayo. You were not an Aquino yet. You
Nope,
were
definitely.
you were an Abanto, and let me
Yes.
cut straight to this fact. Your eldest sister is my ex-girlfriend.
Yep.
Yep, yep. So
Yes,
that's
Kuya
how.
Mike.
Sabi ko na nga ba eh. Sabi ko na nga ba lilitaw yung Kuya Mike na yan eh, ulit eh. But yeah, we've known each other since you were mga ilang taon ka nun, Ange? Noon ha.
I don't know. I was a teenager back then. Siguro we've known each other for at least a decade or so. At least a decade.
At
Ganun na
least a
lang.
decade.
Hindi ko
Yeah,
ma-compute
no?
talaga how long eh. Oh.
You're right. You're right. At least a decade would be a fine estimation. How have you been? Kamusta ka na? I
Well,
mean,
eto, as you said, Aquino na ako.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
been 4 years na Aquino na ako. Nananaba, as you can see.
And there's good reason for
Nananaba
that too.
tayo. Yes, of course, yeah. Because of this quarantine. Well, alam naman nating lahat na hindi maganda yung reason kung bakit tayo na naka-quarantine. But
Right.
for us, no, for me and my husband, in a way, it was such a blessing for us. Siyempre, nakapahinga yung katawan namin.
Right.
And after waiting for a little more than 4 years, ayan,
Four
we were
years.
granted na yung pinakahihintay naming blessing. Yes, 4 years kaming
Yes.
naghintay.
And that blessing is, of course, coming
So
in the
ayan,
form
since
of a
nandito
gift
lang sa
from God.
bahay, nakapahinga,
Yeah, you're having a
yes,
child.
a few months
Yes.
time.
When are you due? Kailan ka
Well,
due to give birth?
ang sabi ni OB, January 7.
Wow. January
So,
7.
mm-mm.
So, same
Mhm.
same birth month sila ni Ara pag nagkataon. 'Di ba, no?
Pag nagkataon niya.
Pag
And
nagkataon.
Aika, yung sumunod sa akin, di ba?
And Aika,
Yes.
yes. Aika was my favorite for some time. This was before we started working together. Because Angie and I, to those of you who are listening, it was a there was a bizarre time in my life when we had to work together on the same production floor. We were working for
Mhm.
Prudential Financial. And I forgot kung ano yung official title natin nun? Were we financial advisors? I mean, I have no idea. I forgot.
No naman. Ano lang tayo, customer service representatives lang talaga.
Really?
Oo.
So that's what
We,
it says on
yeah,
paper?
oo.
Kahit na ang dami
Yes,
nating kahit
CSR.
ang dami nating certifications na ginawa nun, 'di ba?
Trainings and all, yeah, oo.
Yeah,
Well, still, hindi tayo licensed at that time. So,
that's true. That's true.
CSR.
So
With
going
Sykes, no? That was
Mhm.
with Sykes.
That's right. That's right. I think that was back in 2005, 2006. 'Di ba? Mga ganun.
Yeah.
It was quite some time. And back then you were also weren't you a working student back then?
I think nung nagkasabay tayo sa Sykes Prudential,
Yeah.
um, full-time ako sa work. I
Mhm.
haven't decided at that time yet to go back to school.
Uh-huh.
Nagbumalik ako 2010 na eh,
Ah,
sa school.
okay.
While
Okay.
still working. While still
Okay.
working.
Okay. So what did you take up nung bumalik ka sa eskwela?
I took up management of financial institutions.
Mhm.
Yun. So separate siya sa banking. It's really more of yung world of finance, everything around it. Yun.
Yeah. It's such a very it's funny that you took that course because you are basically part of a machine now that is called Your Family, which also has their own small business. And I'm sure that you have a hand in helping them manage their finances because it is a business. It is a parang sa atin dito sa atin sa lugar natin institusyon na rin yan eh si Aling Betchay eh, 'di ba?
Si Betchies, yes, oo. Well,
Yes,
although
Betchay's.
I live separately sa
Mhm.
kanila, mama and the other siblings live in Sampaloc. I now am here in Novaliches. From
Right.
time to time, nire-remind ko sila yung proper costing. Ayan. Kasi syempre, hindi ka pwedeng magpresyo lang ng product ng
Correct.
basta-basta lang. Madaming factors to consider, especially mama. Syempre, yeah, she's the one who's cooking and all. Sa
Mhm.
kanya yon. Pero yung costing, kailangan talaga, gag-guide mo siya eh.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Understood. Understood. So, ito, yung sa quarantine, what were you doing prior to the quarantine? What were you busy with?
Prior to the quarantine, um, I've been a financial coach or a financial planner for the past 6 years. Oh my God, ngayon ko lang na-realize na 6 years na pala.
Wow.
Yeah, oo.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I started in 2014.
Uh-huh.
So, ayun, I get to meet with a lot of people. It's very convenient para sa
Mhm.
akin kasi
Mhm.
syempre hawak ko yung oras ko.
Right.
Ayan, if I need time to rest and just
Yeah.
stay at home, that's what I do. But most of the time, ayun, I talk to people, somehow help them with their finances. Syempre, hindi naman ako yung nagbibigay ng pera. But,
Yeah.
giving tips, pieces of advice for them to assess their needs, ano ba yung goals nila sa buhay, and help them go through it para ma-reach nila yung goals nila. Yun. That's what I do up to now.
Kasi napaka-importante ng ginagawa mo because coming, for example, from our neighborhood, which is not a gated community, it's not Forbes Park. You know what I mean? Ang pangarap natin, marami tayo
Mm.
na
Yeah.
gusto natin pag nagkaroon tayo ng kaunting pera, kung matino tayo, kung naayos natin yung pagdadala ng pera natin, gusto natin magtayo ng sarili nating maliit na business, like humble beginnings lang talaga.
Yep.
Tapos noon, pag nagkaroon ka na ng ganun, medyo, alam mo para sa akin, pag tinanong mo ko, isa sa mga pinaka-tricky is when you start a business and then you start earning, alam mo yun, may mga employees ka na, tapos nun, hindi mo na alam kung paano ka mag-e-expand or hindi mo na alam kung saan direksyon mo dadalhin to. Ano ba? Dapat ba mag-market research na ako tapos i-expand ko tong brand ko to another uh, aspect of business? Like for example, I'm doing food right now. Should I expand to catering or be a supplier for events, or gusto ko ba na magkaroon ng, kung may betchez food, kumbaga gusto ko ba ng betchez furniture? Kasi 'di ba nangyayari 'yan,
Yeah.
'di ba?
Oo.
And it's always a risk, it's always people have a tendency for risk aversion, no? So do you have those kinds
Correct.
of conversations with your clients whenever you go to meet them, or you got to meet them prior to the quarantine?
Yeah. Although, yung current network ko are more of young ones, working individuals. There are
Uh-huh.
those who plan to eventually have their own business. But in
Ah.
terms of business-wise kasi, when you talk about business, it's, kumbaga, you'll need to speak with a different mentor.
Mhm.
Kasi, kumbaga, planning your finances, personal money management, it's
Mm-mm.
different from engaging into the nitty-gritty of the business, 'di ba?
Oo,
Andiyan
oo.
yung marketing, 'di ba? 'Di ba? Andiyan yung
Oo.
marketing mo, yung supplies, yung costing and all.
Yeah.
So for those na nagpa-plan to have their own business, I highly recommend na they seek for mentors. Kasi mahirap,
Mhm.
tama yung sabi mo, no, risk aversion. So, mahirap yung talagang papasok ka lang into business na bahala na. Hindi pwedeng ganon. Kasi may tendency, mataas talaga yung tendency na baka malugi, hindi tayo
Mm.
mag-perform ng maayos. So,
Mm.
it's really best that you speak with a professional. Parati
Correct.
ko ngang sinasabi, pag tayo nagkasakit, 'di ba? We don't just listen to our friends advice na inumin mo to, this is what you take, gumaling ako dito. Hindi naman pwedeng parating ganon, 'di ba?
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
have a serious illness, you seek a professional. You call a doctor. If you need
Yeah.
legal advice, you go to lawyers, 'di
Yeah.
ba? So
Yeah.
iba-iba.
Alam mo kasi, kaya ako natatawa is because kung napansin mo, a lot like business, because may mga tao nakakita ng kapital, right? But a lot like business, kapag tayo may sakit at kapag tayo nakakuha ng kaunting pera, nagse-self-medicate tayo. Gets mo?
Correct. Correct.
Nagse-self-medicate tayo
Yeah,
eh. It's
oo.
a truth eh. Na parang ilang tao na nakita mo nagkaroon ng kapital, and then syempre pag may kapital ka, meron kang konting meron kang konting confidence. You know what I mean? Na
Confidence, yes.
oo,
Oo.
ipinangutang mo man yan o pinag-ipunan mo man yan, lalo na kapag pinag-ipunan mo. May confidence ka na, uy, may
Yes.
diskarte ako. Kasi, alam mo, ito ngang pangkapital na pag-ipunan ko eh. 'Di ba? Nagawa ko to ng tama
Totoo.
eh. I think I won't do so bad when it comes to my own business or owning my own
Ang
business
business.
now, which isn't always the case. Right?
Correct. Oo.
Katulad nung sinabi mo na yung mga tao na, o sige, mag-Tylenol ka muna. O kaya mag-Advil ka muna, ganito, 'di ba? Not a paid
Advid lang
advertisement.
yan, oo.
Oo, 'di ba? So,
Yeah, of course, no.
ayun. So, parang when you have you talked to any of the existing clients that you have, and kamusta sila ngayong pandemic? How are they doing?
Actually, marami sa mga, even my friends, no, not just clients. Marami din
Yeah.
akong friends na babasa ko sa Facebook, nagra-rant sila na they know how the financial market is at this
Mhm.
time. So, yung confidence level nila in terms of investing
Mhm.
and primarily doing financial planning, talagang hesitant sila kasi ang baba nga daw ng market. But,
Mhm.
well, fortunately for me, I took up finance nga. So, I
Yes.
know this strategy or this principle in terms of investment na you buy low and you sell high. That's if you trade, no?
Mhm.
Which
Mhm.
means when it comes to stock prices,
Mhm.
if you want to earn in the long run, you buy when prices are low. So, when does that happen? Kailan ba nagiging low ang prices ng stocks or ng shares as people call it?
Right.
Kapag hindi maganda yung performance ng market. And best example is
Right.
right now during this pandemic,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So, ang daming business na nag-close, even the malls, they operate pero limited ang
True.
operations. No, the
True.
banks din.
So buy low and then sell high. So were you talking about your clients when you said na it's considering how the economy is doing right now? Parang how is your current clientele? How is your clientele reacting to this phenomenon? Because it is a financial phenomenon.
Yeah. Oh, some of them, well, the existing ones,
Yeah.
some of them parang express ng worry nila about their investment going down, which I
Yeah.
totally understand, di ba?
Uh-huh.
But what I just tell them is that it's not an actual loss until you withdraw what you've invested. It's
Right.
simply a paper loss. Or kung gusto
Uh-huh.
mo sabihin digital loss kasi
Digital
nakikita mo
loss,
siya
tama.
online. Oo, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Nakikita mo lang siya
Uh-uh.
online. But in the long run, syempre, when we're down, when the economy is down, there is no other way for it but to go up eventually,
Mm-hmm.
'di
Mm-hmm.
ba? We will wait for that time na re-recover lahat totally.
Yes.
It wouldn't be drastic definitely. Pero
Mm-hmm.
it will take time, few years siguro from now. It will take time. And when we talk about investment naman kasi, it's a long-term investment, 'di
Yes,
ba?
yes.
It's
Kumbaga,
for a
in the
long
long
term.
run talaga. Oo.
Yes, oo. So, wag natin din i-expect na after 2, 3 years ang laki na ng growth ng pera natin. It
Yeah,
doesn't work that way, 'di ba? So,
yeah.
it may be low at this time,
Mm-hmm.
but the fact that it's low, sana ma-explain ko to na maayos. The fact that
Sige
it's low,
lang.
the prices are low. When the prices are low, you're able to buy more shares
Yeah,
or stocks.
yeah.
Kumbaga sa 100 pesos, if per share is 1 peso, you'll be able to buy 100 shares.
Mm-hmm.
Kasi piso lang siya isa, right?
Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm.
Ngayon, when the financial market recovers at nagtaas na ulit yung mga prices niya, say per
Yeah.
unit naging 5 pesos siya.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You had 100 shares na.
Times
Times 5
5.
pesos isa. So, lumaki na yung value, di ba?
Yeah.
Yun yung hihintayin natin. So don't
Uh-huh.
worry about the prices going low. Again, it wouldn't be an actual loss until you withdraw your
Yeah. That's the
investment.
only time you lose because you withdraw your stake in the game when you withdraw your investment. Um,
Yes, kasi
I
hindi
want,
mo na siya
yeah.
binibigyan ng chance to recover.
That's right. Kumbaga, you're acting, ano rin eh, no? When you're buying stocks and shares, you have to be pretty bold. You have to be pretty brave. And you have to be coming into the game, into that mindset na you're ready. Kumbaga, parang, that money that you invested, it's lost. Treat it as it's lost already. I hear that from a lot of financial planners, financial advisors, and a lot of them also. When you play, I've observed also now when you play the patience game, when you become patient and kumbaga you're coming from a place of abundance and knowing that it will be okay eventually. That's when you actually prosper, eh. 'Di ba? I
Correct.
wanted to ask you, ito medyo bobong tanong. Pero alam mo yun, nanonood ako ng mga YouTube kasi. Nanonood ako YouTube and
Mm.
I heard, sorry, I saw this video by Ray Dalio. He wrote the book Principles. And he's also a business magnate. You know, he's an entrepreneur. He's one of the wealthiest people, right up there with um, Warren Buffett, if I'm not mistaken, and Tony Robbins. So there's a pattern in the economy wherein something happens. It could be a threat to terrorism. It could be a pandemic. It's always something.
Yep.
Pero when it comes to patterns, there is an approximation of every 100 years lang siya nangyayari. How do you feel about this? Like, you and I are alive in 2020, living through a pandemic where our economy is shit. Parang, what would be the top three, or sabihin natin top three things na advice mo sa mga tao, just like a general advice for people who have stocks and shares and bonds?
Okay. Well, in terms of stocks, no, if their money is invested in stocks, I do not recommend that they withdraw, of course. Sabi nga natin kanina, it wouldn't be an actual loss until you withdraw it. It's also not advisable for you to switch to a different fund kasi it's kind of the same thing.
Right.
Kasi when you invest, there are a lot of investment vehicles. You've mentioned bonds. No, you've mentioned bonds. Actually, at this point, bonds is performing quite well compared with stocks.
Right. How so?
Kasi when you say bonds, in layman's term, it's more of pautang.
Okay.
Okay? For example, pag ako ay nagpautang, I expect the principal amount plus a small amount of interest.
Okay.
And that, di ba? And that interest, let's say I'm a lending business. Hindi to personal na utang na pahiram lang ng ganyan. Let's say it's
or
a lending
loan shark,
business.
di ba? Because loan sharks have killer interest. Yeah.
Correct. Okay. So, when I lend money, of course, I expect the principal back plus a small amount of interest.
Yeah.
So, sa pautang kong yon, regardless of the situation, whether there is a pandemic or not, that interest rate wouldn't change. So, I would still expect that return depending on kung ano yung napag-usapan nating time frame. Okay? And when it comes to bonds kasi, sa investment, there's what we call corporate bonds and government bonds.
So, iba-iba pa siya.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. Medyo ano na to, medyo detailed. But,
yeah,
I just want to highlight kasi yung government bonds. You know, when you say government bonds, ibig sabihin, si government ang nanghihiram.
Okay.
To fund, infrastructures, build nga, di ba?
Yeah, what would be the basic example of a government bond?
Well, wala siya actually mga very high-falutin terms na ginagamit. It's more of the term like when does this bond mature, at what rate.
Okay.
Yun lang siya.
All right.
Ganon.
All right.
So syempre, if it's a government bond, if it's the government who's borrowing money, it's almost 100% that you'll get your money back plus the interest. Regardless, again, of the situation ng economy. So, it doesn't depend sa performance ng
economy.
Ng businesses, Yeah.
Okay, understood. So, I want to be able to take a couple of steps back from all these things, stocks and bonds and shares, and go back to something really, really basic and fundamental. When we're talking about financial planning, this was something that was not taught to us in primary or secondary school, not even in college, right?
Yep.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you would have subjects that touch on it, but that's basically it. Pero when you look at curriculums all over the world, there is not one that is made for any institution na that talks about financial literacy. So let's talk about
Yeah.
financial planning. For Filipinos, why is it important for people to have financial planning?
Okay. You see, when you create or when you do financial planning, you
Mm-hmm.
see kasi you're looking at the bigger picture.
Okay.
Kumbaga,
Uh-huh.
you'll be able to determine your short-term and your long-term goals.
Right.
Let's have an analogy.
Yes, please.
Let's say for couples, no,
Mm-hmm.
boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah.
Kapag matagal na kayo, eventually, syempre, you'll feel na, ito na, this is the one, di ba?
Mm-hmm.
This is the person whom I'd like to spend my whole life with. Ayan.
Yes.
So, for the boyfriend, ang magiging goal mo na niyan is to marry your girlfriend, to start
Mm-hmm.
your own family with a girlfriend, di ba?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, when you have that goal, syempre, hindi naman pwedeng overnight, kasal na tayo. Hindi naman po
Yeah.
pwedeng ganun. So, you
Yeah.
plan a proposal.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah.
Siyempre, ano yan, pagandahan ng proposal yan. But the
Totoo.
thing is, you plan for it, right? You plan
Yeah.
for it, how much ba yung kaya kong budget for the ring, kailan ako
Uh-huh.
magpo-propose, anong setup, anong klaseng surprise. You
Mm-hmm.
plan for it. Kasi
Yeah.
you have a goal.
Mm-hmm.
Your goal to is your goal is eventually to have a family with your girlfriend, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it should be the same thing with our finances.
Okay.
We have to know what our short-term goals are
Mm-hmm.
and what our long-term goals are. For example, in the short run, do we plan or do we want to have our own house,
Mm-hmm.
to have our own car? And
Mm-hmm.
in the long run, no, long term, do we plan to have a very comfortable retirement? Diba?
Mm-hmm.
When do we plan to retire? When we know what age we want to retire and how much we'd like to have monthly when we retire, we have to plan for it. Diba? Paano natin siya ma-attain? And when you
Right.
have proper financial planning, you set your goal, you check the status where you at
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in reaching your goal, what are your strategies, your plan in reaching that goal, 'di ba?
Right.
'Yun, yung
Right.
mga ganong bagay. And it makes it a lot easier for you to make financial decisions.
Okay.
Kasi na-allocate mo nung tama yung cash flow mo, kumbaga. So, ito yung para sa goal ko. Do I have excess? If I want to buy this, if I want to buy that, ganyan. So, it's really more of proper money management. Yan. Para,
Yes.
syempre, in the long run, ang goal naman nating lahat is to have financial freedom. 'Di ba? Financial
Correct.
freedom. And of course, most importantly, is yung peace of mind.
Correct. You're with Pru right now. Is that right?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
yes. Provide
Perfect.
you
I
good.
wanted to I wanted to pick your brain real quick since I have you on the podcast. I wanted to really pick your brain. You're familiar with other insurance or sorry investment vehicles, right? We were talking about investment vehicles. There are different types of investment vehicles.
Mm.
Um,
Yes, oo.
why should people invest their money in insurance over other investment vehicles?
Okay. Well, this is what I usually say when I do financial coaching or financial planning, no?
Right.
I am not disregarding the fact or I'm not ignoring the other investment vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are those na plain investments, di ba, ang
Mm-hmm.
properties nga, we call that investment then, right?
Yes. Yes.
Properties, real estate, ganyan. But when it comes to insurance, it's different eh. It's more of protecting your investment and
Mm-hmm.
your other properties. So, kung importante sa'yo ang investment and yung accumulated wealth mo, then it's also important for you to have your own insurance. And syempre, not just investment and properties, but of course, your family also. Say,
Right.
I assume you can still, medyo feeling ko matagal na to, pero I assume you can recall yung Maslow's hierarchy of
Of
needs.
needs. Yes, yes. Abraham Maslow.
Yes,
Yeah.
okay. Yes. 'Di ba ang base niya is yung physiological needs natin, the basic foundation, yung mga basic needs
Yeah,
natin in
yeah, yeah.
life. And when you talk about the base, your base should be the strongest.
Mhm.
Okay?
That makes a lot of
So,
sense.
right. So, when we talk about financial triangle, we also have that triangle, in finance. So,
Okay.
ang base naman ng financial triangle is protection.
Uh-huh.
When we say protection, that already covers insurance. Well, actually, when you say insurance, it's not just yung with investment eh. Kasi meron
Okay.
namang cheap version ng insurance yung walang investment.
Okay.
But the
Are you going
important
to
thing
talk about
there
that
is
later? Are you going to talk
pwede
about that
naman.
in detail? Please. Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I want to know
Okay.
more. I want to know more about it.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
please continue. Yeah.
So yeah, going back to the protection as the base or the foundation of your financial triangle, why is it important? If you skip that protection part and you go directly to investment and wealth accumulation,
Yeah.
if something unlikely happens,
Mhm.
say a critical illness,
Mhm.
disability, an accident, for example, and
Death.
you don't have right, death, of
Mhm.
course,
Mhm.
and you don't have that protection,
Mhm.
everything will collapse. Kasi where will you or your family get the money to fund your illness, to fund the disability, to fund the accident? Let's say you have savings. After savings, ang next mo na ano na, investment na. Yung na-accumulate mo na funds, which is sayang,
Mhm.
right? So everything would collapse, and when you recover, everything goes back to zero.
You're right.
Paghihirapan mo siya ulit, ilang taon ka na.
Correct.
And like, if you have protection and your protection or the base is very strong, you'll have emergency funds
Mhm.
kung saan mo pwedeng kunin yung gagastusin mo for the illness. When we talk about critical illness, how much do we need?
Exactly.
'Di ba? Ano ba yung mga
Um
sinasabi nating critical illness? Cancer,
mhm.
heart
Heart
attack, yung
attack.
mga ganyan.
Yes, yes. Sobrang
Mm.
dami. Um I don't mean to interrupt, pero I just wanna pause because may naisip ako. May naisip ako na isang instance wherein this actually applies. But before I say that, I think we're gonna have to cut into a break and then I'll get into the story later. Give us a few minutes. We are at the Mike Acuna podcast. Welcome to the Mike Acuna podcast. You're still here with me, Mike Acuna, and this time we have Angie joining us tonight. Angie is a financial advisor, but I met her when she was a wee bit a little girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
My gosh, you were a teenager. You were a teenager when I met you, and now look at you.
Yes.
You are a very credible financial advisor who knows a lot about personal. Um, was the term again? Personal
Money management.
money management. I have a few things that I can learn from you for sure. Pero do you remember a time in your life when you said, things we basically grew up in the same neighborhood, tama, 'di ba?
Yes.
Um
Oo.
Galing tayo ng Sampaloc, Manila. And life in Sampaloc was not always as easy. It may not have been as tough a neighborhood as Tondo or Santa Cruz or
Ano,
Balik-Balik. Ngayon. Pero we had our own share of witnessing things that happen in that neighborhood, and that would make you say, shit, 'di ba? Parang tama pa ba to, 'di ba? You know, like not just the crime, you know, but the things that we experienced growing up. I don't want to enumerate them one by one. When did you realize na, shoot, I have to be better than this? Like, which part of your life did you look at yourself and say, pito kami magkakapatid, and then I have this family. Like, how do I serve this family well?
Mm.
Yeah, when did that happen for you? Is this a technical difficulty? Yes, podcasting in the Zoom era is proving to be a lot, very, very challenging. Angie, do I have you back?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yes, I can. You're loud and clear. So, yeah, when did you realize it? Na parang, alam mo ba nung bata ka pa lang ba, nalaman mo na, yeah, you know what? I want to be performing in a space that has a lot to do with financial literacy, or did this come later on, like college or while you were working? When did this happen?
Well, backstory siguro. Backstory is when yung father namin had his first stroke.
Right.
As you know, but of course our listeners don't know. I come from a very big family. So my parents, no, that's 2 and 7 kami magkakapatid. So I come from a
Right.
family of 9.
Wow.
Yes,
Tapos
laki, di ba?
tapos si Aaron lang ang nag-iisang lalaki sa inyo.
Yes, ang aming
Mhm.
uniko iho.
Uniko iho.
Ayan,
Pareho kami ni Aaron na uniko iho. Yeah.
uniko iho, yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
And then way back in, I think that was 2002, um, Papa had his first stroke. Okay. At that time, I can't say na we're rich, but I'd like to think na we're kind of well off. You know, Papa, we had our own fiberglass business. So that time, uso pa yung sa mga kotse, you know,
Mhm.
spoiler, side skirt, bumper. That was his
Yeah.
business. Okay.
So cool.
So it was running very well. Yeah.
Mhm.
So he is really into cars. The business was running very well. Lahat kaming magkakapatid went to exclusive schools. So kaming lahat na girls, of course, exclusive school for girls, and so is for Aaron. And then
At madagdag ko lang
I'm not
ha.
sure if
Sorry, madagdag ko lang, hindi mura sa St. Teresa's College. Hindi mura ang tuition sa St. Teresa's
definitely.
College. Okay, please proceed.
Yeah, definitely hindi siya mura, no?
Yeah.
And just try to imagine lahat kami nandoon. Parang kilala na kami ng lahat ng teachers. Abanto na naman, abanto na naman.
Parang lahat,
That's the,
nagkaroon ba ng school year na lahat kayo, kumbaga parang first year may abanto, hanggang fourth year may abanto?
I'm trying to count.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But siguro, hindi ko masabi. Kasi meron pa ring certain age gap kami eh. So, not
Yeah.
sure. Pero at least siguro 3 to 4 in a school year.
Right.
Oo.
So,
3
si
to 4
Tito
kaming nandun.
Jimmy
Ayan.
was, of course, ladies and gentlemen, Tito Jimmy Abanto is Angie's father. And
Yep.
she passed, he passed on around 2002, 2003. Tama ba?
6.
Sorry, was that 2006?
Yes, it was
Yeah.
2006.
Yeah, sorry. So that was his
Okay, well,
first stroke. Yung
2002
2002.
was his, yes, oo.
Mhm.
So, to add to to that exclusive school part, Papa was simply investing into cars. So we had 7
Mm-hmm.
of different sorts, no? So we
Mm-hmm.
had a van, a pickup, a Wrangler, yung jeep na malaki,
I remember
wagon,
that.
whatever. We
Yeah.
even had, I think, a Mustang. Ewan ko kung naabutan mo yon.
Parang hindi
Am
na.
I pronouncing it correctly? Hindi kasi into cars.
Um,
Hindi kasi ako into cars eh.
you did. You did.
Yeah, okay. So there, hindi ko sure if at that time, financial advisors were already, there to tap on people such as my father to help with
Mm-hmm.
their finances. But what I know is that my father is not or was not into future or financial planning.
Would you
So,
say that he's not necessarily looking long term at things long
yes,
term? Okay, okay.
right. I even um, recall can recall my mom saying na she wanted us to have educational plans,
Mm-hmm.
but since si Papa yung working, si Mama kasi as you know was a housewife for the longest time. So
Mm-hmm.
kahit
Mm-hmm.
gusto niya for us to have that educational plan, kung si Papa who is the breadwinner,
Yeah,
ayaw. Wala, 'di ba? So there, wala
yeah,
kaming educational plans. But there, Papa was investing sa cars, sa kanyang mga pieces of jewelry, ang dami niyang relo and all.
yeah.
So there, yun yung investment part niya.
Okay.
2002 came, he had his first stroke.
Mm-hmm.
I can clearly recall in 2 days, nag-check si mama ng running bill sa UST hospital, 66,000 for 2 days.
Wow.
2 days pa lang yon. Yeah.
Holy crap.
So, that point, mama decided to transfer papa to the charity
Charity
part
ward. Yeah, the ward.
yan ng UST hospital para cheaper. Kasi syempre, stroke yun eh. So, nasa ICU siya eh. Magkano per day sa ICU, di ba?
Right,
If we'll
right.
stay dun sa private hospital ng UST, lolobo talaga yung bill namin. So, tinransfer siya sa charity ward. I can't remember na how long we stayed sa
Mm-hmm.
ICU. But definitely after the confinement, when he was finally discharged, syempre hindi naman doon natatapos yung expenses.
Yes.
He had his therapy, continuous medication, and all, di ba? So there, dahil doon sa maraming expenses na kinailangan for Papa, um, talagang disturbed yung financial status ng family namin at that time. Naging malaki
Mm-hmm.
siyang problema sa amin.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, as you mentioned, mataas ang tuition sa STC and ilan kaming nag-aaral doon. Lahat kami
Right.
naka-private. 2004, he had his second stroke. Every 2 years siya actually.
Gosh.
2002, he had his second stroke.
Mm-hmm.
So tuloy-tuloy. Tuloy-tuloy yung medication. Not to mention, since siya lang yung nakakaalam how to run the fiberglass business.
Business, yeah.
Nag-ano rin siya, humina. Kasi walang ibang mag-aasikaso eh.
Mm-hmm.
'Di ba? Until eventually, we had to close it. All of us were very young. We were all kids. I think high school pa lang kami ni Ate Ara noon.
Right.
So, we knew nothing about running a business. Plus,
Much,
girls kami.
yeah, much less a fiberglass business. Not, I don't mean to
Yes.
sound sexist, ah. I don't mean to sound
But,
sexist, but yeah, nung time na yun, it was a man's business eh. Fiberglass is,
correct.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So there, we had to sell everything that we had, no? So yung 7 cars na yon, benta
Wala
lahat
lahat.
yan. Wala lahat. Even that sports car, if I remember it correctly, ang banggit ni Mama, we had to sell it just for 50,000 pesos. Just so maging liquid siya. Just so maging pera siya.
Yeah.
I don't know what the exact worth is of that car, but
Mm-hmm.
with that statement, parang feeling ko luging-lugi
Palugi.
kami
Oo,
for that
palugi.
amount.
Oo, oo.
Tapos, we even came to a point na hindi namin mabayaran yung rent. Um, ito, ito na yung sinasabi ko, magiging emotional ako eh.
It's
Ayan,
okay.
hirap kami magbayad ng house rent, ng tuition fee naming magkakapatid, ganyan. Kasi syempre, gusto pa rin, tinutuloy namin yung medications ni Papa eh.
Mm-mm.
Alam ka nang ihinto namin yun, kailangan niya yun for him to live, di ba?
Correct.
Para he'd still be with us. So, yun, we had to transfer to another apartment kasi nga pinaalis na kami, hindi na kami nakakabayad. When we transferred, um, ganun pa rin. Parang umabot kami ng at least a year na hindi
Mm-hmm.
nakakabayad ng rent and wala rin kaming kuryente.
Wow.
Nakakahiya mang sabihin, pero since nag-aaral pa kami that time, sa gabi, no, at night, just so makagawa kami ng assignments, kailangan naming, ano ba tawag doon? Jumper
Yeah,
sa
yeah.
kuryente.
Jumper
Yon.
cable, yeah.
Oo. So, we did that for a very, very long time, no? Until
Yeah.
2006. 2006 when Papa had his last stroke.
Yeah.
Ayun na. That was the final thing.
Yeah, the final
I
blow,
think,
no?
yes, oo. I think the doctors were suggesting a brain surgery, if I'm
Mm-hmm.
not mistaken. Kasi nung nakita ko siya sa hospital, pulang-pula na yung forehead niya. So I think talagang yung internal hemorrhage, grabe na.
Yeah.
So I think there was a chance, no, to cure him, but Mama decided not to go through it anymore kasi, well, basic for the basic reason na wala na kaming pera, no. And even if we had money to pay for that surgery,
Mm-hmm.
definitely after the surgery, after the confinement, mangangailangan pa rin kami ng pera,
That's true.
'di ba? To
That's true.
support his medication. Yes, oo. So, doon, if Papa had, let's say, yung critical illness coverage,
Mm-hmm.
that would have protected everything that he had invested on.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm.
his cars, his, pieces of jewelry, kasi he had emergency funds, supposedly, for critical illness.
Understood.
And, you know, um, we don't know. He could have been still alive if we had that money to pay for the brain surgery and
Yes.
to sustain the expenses post-surgery. Diba? So,
Correct.
um, that's why I'm really very passionate about what I'm doing, about my job into financial planning kasi I know the value. I've experienced it firsthand. And knowing na I am aware of these things, I am
Mm-hmm.
aware na people, there there is a way so people wouldn't have to suffer the way we did.
Mm-hmm.
Ayoko naman na just to keep it to myself. That's why I want to share it with everyone. Kasi ang hirap, sobrang hirap ng pinagdaanan naming magkakapatid, especially my mom.
Mm-hmm.
Struggle talaga sa aming lahat nung nangyari yung ganong um, illness
Ordeal.
ni
Yeah,
Papa.
yeah.
Yes, oo.
You know, si Tita Beth talaga, she's such a soldier, you know?
Yeah.
Para siyang sundalo eh. To think na, if I'm not mistaken, parang nagtrabaho pa si Tita Beth, 'di ba? As a nurse, 'di ba?
Yes.
And how
Um,
old was she when she did that?
Nako, hindi ko na matandaan. Pero for the longest time, since naging pregnant siya kay Ate Ara,
Yeah, yeah.
housewife na siya ever since. Until that
Ah,
time na, I don't know if that was the first or second stroke that made her decide na to go back to being a nurse and
mhm.
become clinical instructor.
Clinical instructor. Okay. All
Yes,
right.
oo.
All right. And this was
And
uh
then,
yeah, go ahead.
kami din ni Ate Ara, just so yung mga younger siblings namin makapagpatuloy sa kanilang studies, we had to stop
Mhm.
going to going to
Going to
school.
school.
We were in college na at that time. Si Ate
Mhm.
Ara was taking up nursing and ako naman nasa Lasal pa ako at that time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
after, 'di ba? After
Mhm.
first year college, talagang I decided to stop going to school
Mhm.
bilang ako yung may pinakamataas na tuition sa aming lahat.
Mm. Mm.
So, at the age of 18, ayan, buti na lang allowed na mag-work ang 18 years old, no? So,
Yeah.
there I decided, 'di ba? At
Yeah.
least nakatulong ako. I decided to work sa Sykes. That's when I joined
That's when we
Sykes
work
as a call
together.
center agent.
Yeah.
Yes, oo. And it was really a great help for the family.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was. Um, Looking back at that generation, no, your generation, my generation, there was not the internet was not proliferated yet. Wala pang internet. And it was tough for people to avail of services such as coverage that we were talking about, emergency funds and insurance and all that. Parang,
Emergency funds.
tsaka please correct me if I'm wrong, nung panahon na yun, ang iba pa ang pera na in a way na kapag may insurance ka, it's either of three things. It's either you are financially responsible and you're earning enough,
Mhm.
you are rich to begin with, and siguro extended coverage ka ng magulang mo or your spouse, or
Mhm.
the third is you're both. You're rich, you're well off, and you're covered
Responsible,
by
yeah.
extension, by principle of extension. Um, Ngayon na may internet na and things are so easy. Like you can practically call anyone. You can come in contact
Yeah.
with anyone via, mediums like this. Like we're chatting
Mm-hmm.
over video right now. Would this be for you in your own mind's eye? Would this be something that people should take advantage of while it's still here? While it's still
Yes.
doing as well as it is now?
Yes, definitely. Um, Before the pandemic, syempre yung discussion should be done face to face, in
Correct.
person, no?
Yeah.
So both parties would need to travel and take time to meet and
Mm-hmm.
discuss things.
Mm-hmm.
But now, because of this pandemic, because of physical or social distancing, we were fortunately allowed to discuss or have do the discussion online, no, do the
Mm-hmm.
financial planning online, and even process yung mga applications online. So it would save a lot of time. Kahit kagigising mo lang, may meeting wala ako, Zoom, go.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Di ba?
Yeah.
So, while it is allowed, take advantage, you know. And when you say you'll be doing financial planning, it doesn't necessarily mean, nor it doesn't automatically mean that you'll buy insurance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Us financial advisors, our goal is to help you fix your cash flow, fix your finances,
Mm-hmm.
and help you eventually reach your financial whatever that goal is.
Right.
Yes, insurance is part of the planning kasi nga, as I've mentioned kanina, that should be the strongest foundation of your financial triangle. But the end decision is up to you.
You're right.
We'll give you all the options, will guide you through your cash flow, but at the end of the day, ikaw ang pipirma, 'di ba? Ikaw ang
Correct.
magsasabi ng yes or no, I'll take it, I won't take it, I don't need it. It's up to you.
Correct.
Basta kami nagawa namin yung goal namin to share, and enlighten you, give you that financial literacy.
Yeah, and share that information na hey, the number one mistake that humans make is think that we have more time than we actually do. And that's only the first
Correct.
mistake. That's only the first mistake. The second mistake is it's not that we don't have uh, less time. It's that we waste a lot of time. Ginagawa din nating mga tao yan, di ba? So,
Mm-mm.
just to set the record straight, for let's pretend like I have absolutely no knowledge about financial literacy, and let's say that I have, for example, I have the money, I have the means to. Syempre, if we are to talk about adult principles, isa sa mga una itatanong sa'yo ng adult is, ano bang meron dyan? Ano bang benefits niyan? What's in it for me? So, my next question is, what are the things that most people are unaware of when it comes to insurance?
Okay. Well, traditionally, I think this is what most people know when
Mm-hmm.
you say insurance, is the benefit that your family would get in case, bigla
Ganun
tayong
agad,
tawagin ni Lord,
no? 'Di
no?
ba, no?
God
Ganun
forbid.
agad.
Oo. That's why very hesitant yung mga tao na, ba't ako kukuha ng insurance? Di pa naman ako mamamatay.
Yeah.
Well, first off, how can we say na, di ba?
Yeah.
Who are we to say na hindi pa bukas, hindi pa the
Mm-hmm.
next day? We don't
Right.
even know when that will happen,
It could
right?
happen
But
anytime.
anyway,
Tama.
right. But anyway, that's one thing. That's correct naman na it's one of the major benefits that
Mm-hmm.
insurance has.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
on top of that, there are actually a lot more. No?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
First is yung kinukwento ko kanina na critical illness
Yes.
coverage.
Talk about that.
So, yeah. So, um, depending on the insurance company, we do have our respective list,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
of covered illnesses.
Mm-hmm.
But generally speaking, when we talk about critical illnesses, nandiyan yung cancer, heart attack, stroke, brain tumor, yung mga ganon. As in critical,
Mm-hmm.
that would
Mm-hmm.
require you to spend at least 1 million for you to recover.
Okay. Ang
Yun,
laki na
di ba?
nun.
So, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, kahit sabihin mong meron kang health card, tapos
May
idagdag mo
ano
na
yan
si
eh.
PhilHealth.
Yeah, yeah. May ceiling
Sige,
yun eh.
idagdag mo na rin si Correct, exactly. May ceiling siya.
Uh-huh.
Tapos sige, idagdag mo na rin si PhilHealth kung gusto mo. Dagdag mo na siya na cover.
Mm-hmm.
Aabot ba yun ng 1 million? Siguro kung super high executive ka ng company, I'm not even sure if there's
That's offered.
yeah, if that's offered, if there's a
Yeah.
coverage as such na 1 million for a critical
Right.
illness.
Mm-hmm.
And not just that, after the confinement, since we're talking about the critical illness, the expenses don't stop upon discharge.
That's true.
You
That's
will
true.
have, di ba?
May
You'll
buntot
have
yan
your
eh.
maintenance. Correct.
Yung dragon na yan, may
Pag
buntot yan eh.
kinailangan ka rin ng, exactly. Kung kinailangan ka ng therapy, yung
Mm-hmm.
continuous medication mo, and when you're critically ill, do you expect yourself to still be working then for you to earn and
Oo
sustain
nga
your
no.
expenses? Hindi
Oo
rin, di
nga
ba?
no.
So, saan ka kukuha? Aasa ka sa iba.
Oo
Aasa
nga.
ka sa family members mo. Aasa ka din sa friends, 'di ba? Sa relatives, pahiram. Kahit may mga magpahiram sa'yo, up to what extent lang din. 'Di ba? That's
Yeah,
why,
yeah.
ayun nga. So going back, an insurance plan can give you that emergency funds
Mm-hmm.
for critical illness,
Mm-hmm.
no? Second is yung disability benefit.
This is
So
permanent disability.
yes,
Okay.
total and permanent disability naman.
Mm-hmm.
So, for you to be declared as someone who's totally and permanently disabled, meron siyang prerequisite na 6 consecutive months.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that be confirmed by a physician, by a doctor, no, na okay, 6 months ng disabled si Mr. X,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and hindi na siya makaka-recover.
Right.
So when that happens and you have disability benefit, there is a certain amount, depending on your plan, of course, there is a certain amount that you can claim
Mm-hmm.
from your insurance plan
Mm-hmm.
to help you then with your expenses. Kasi sabi
Mm-hmm.
nga natin, totally disabled ka na, so you can't work anymore. So,
Mm-hmm.
paano yung food mo? Kung totally disabled ka na, probably you'll have your own private nurse.
Yeah.
Sino
An
magbabayad
aid.
kay nurse?
Correct.
Diba?
Correct.
If you're a breadwinner, and you're totally disabled, paano yung expenses ng family mo? Tuition fee ng mga anak mo?
Mm-hmm.
Diba? Someone has to replace you as a breadwinner, and it's not that instant na bukas may work na yung wife mo o yung anak mo na pwedeng mag-work on your behalf. So, kailangan meron kang allowance, kumbaga.
Tama.
Diba? So,
Paano kung
that
yung anak mo
disability
taga-STC pa, di
benefit
ba?
sa insurance plan.
Di ba?
Paano
Hindi
kung
siya
minor
mura.
ka, hindi ka pwedeng
Oo.
mag-work, paano
Di
na?
ba? Oh.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry. Please go ahead.
So, yun. No,
So,
that's fine. So,
yeah.
third,
Okay.
accidental benefit, no? So, um, if, let's say, after an accident, hindi man totally disabled yung buong katawan,
Yeah.
let's say by body part, naging dysfunctional,
Mm-hmm.
or it required dismemberment of
Mm-hmm.
any
Mm-hmm.
part of the body,
Mm-hmm.
you'll also be able to claim a certain amount of benefit.
Mm. Okay.
Yon. That's for accident. Ano pa
Mm-hmm.
ba? Hospitalization.
Okay.
We also have hospitalization benefit
Excuse me.
wherein, let's say, per day of confinement, you'll be able to claim at least 1,000 pesos
Mm.
from your insurance plan.
Okay.
O, di ba? So, if a person was confined for, let's say, 5 days, and the benefit coverage is 1,000 per day, so that person
5,000
can
yun.
claim 5,000. Yes.
Mm.
And that's depending on your daily wage or daily salary. The
Okay.
coverage can be up to 5,000 per day.
Wow. Wow. So if you're the type to work hard to gain yourself a reputable position in a company, and so you'd get a bigger. It makes sense. You'd get a bigger coverage.
Yes, because
Okay.
the idea of it is, the idea of the hospitalization benefit is not to pay for the bill,
Mm-hmm.
nor to reimburse yung nagastos mo sa hospital, but to actually replace yung nawalang income sa'yo sa work because
Right.
of the
Right.
confinement. That's why
Right.
the basis of it is your daily salary.
Ah. Okay. Understood. Understood. Does it go below 1,000 since it's
And
based
then,
on your daily salary?
no,
Would it be? That's the minimum.
the minimum
1,000.
na is 1,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, that's not bad.
Mm-mm.
That's not bad at all. Okay.
Yes.
So, what else can they? What
Kasi
else can they
if you
do?
think of it,
Sorry, go ahead.
yun nga, sabi ko, it, for
When you think
confinement, kahit
of,
sabihin natin you have
yeah.
your health card, okay, so everything,
Mm-hmm.
you have your health card to cover for the expenses or the hospital bill, hindi lang naman yun yung expenses mo during the confinement. Kung sino
Mm-hmm.
yung nagbabantay sa'yo, that person has to eat,
Mm-hmm.
has to go home,
Mm-hmm.
'di ba? Travel from the hospital to the house, or maybe that person also has to skip from work
Yeah,
para
you're right.
bantayan ka. Doon mo
Oh,
siya, doon mo siya pwedeng gamitin, 'di ba?
yeah, yeah.
And the rate doubles if the confinement is in an ICU.
Mm, okay, okay. Pero alam mo, that's very considerate para do sa mga nagbabantay sa ospital. Kasi yun nga, paano kung kailangan umuwi, kailangan ng damit,
Yeah,
'di ba? Uy, mahalang Grab ngayon. Mahalang surge ng Grab ngayon. they
correct.
they really are taking advantage
Exactly.
of this. So
Oo.
it's not that it's not like we can do anything about that. But yeah, for insurance, no, ano pang pwede nilang gawin dito? I mean, how about like
Ayan.
retirement funds, educational funds, like what else? Is that covered?
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So there are, as I've mentioned kanina, there are two types of insurance
Uh-huh.
plans.
Okay.
No. One is the traditional insurance,
Mm-hmm.
wherein it's plain benefits in
Mm-hmm.
terms of life and health.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's what we call a VUL plan,
Okay.
which comes with investment.
Okay.
So, kumbaga, that VUL plan has two components. First is the life and health benefits, and the other one is the investment part. So that means na the premium that you're paying, or I actually would like to call it as a saving.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's a savings plan. I don't want people to think na it's an expense. For
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
it's really a savings or an investment plan. So your monthly premium or your monthly savings, other than,
Hello,
can you hear me
Angie.
still?
Yeah, Angie, would you mind starting over from your premiums or your monthly? You were saying something about the premium?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So your monthly premium or your monthly savings, as I call it, does not just pay for the insurance coverage and for
Mhm.
the other benefits. It's also being invested in the
Okay.
financial market.
All right.
And that investment, you'll have different options depending on your risk appetite
Mm-hmm.
as to where you'd like us to invest it.
Mm.
Kasi iba-iba tayo ng risk appetite eh. There are those na aggressive, 'di ba?
Right.
And there are
Right.
those na conservative,
Mm-hmm.
na basta lang ma-invest kahit hindi masyadong mataas yung return, okay na ako, yung mga ganon.
Right.
So that
Right.
investment part or that investment component of the VUL or the insurance plan, you can position it in such a way na I'm allocating this for my child's education, for my child's tuition fee after 15 years.
Mm.
Yung magiging investment ko after 15 years pag lumaki to, dito ko kukunin yung pang tuition fee or pang college ng anak ko. No?
Wow.
Or pwede naman
Yeah.
na kung hindi mo siya magagalaw, then in the long run, when you retire, you'll have your own retirement fund. That is on top
Mm.
of your benefits.
Okay.
Yun siya. So, I think a lot of people are not aware of these other benefits that an insurance plan can provide to listen
Angie?
and talk about it.
Okay. Okay.
Hi.
Yeah, sorry about that. The audio was bad for a second, pero it's good now. Okay. So that's on top. The retirement fund
Okay.
is on top of all the benefits that you are, well, enjoying, right? Or you are currently covered for should you avail this kind of coverage.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right.
So if we'll go back to the financial triangle,
Mm-hmm.
no,
Yeah.
with a VUL plan, you're already hitting at least two birds with one stone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Hello. Yes, we're hitting two birds with one stone.
yeah. Can you hear
I can hear you
one
loud and
stone?
clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Because dun sa VUL plan mo, you'll have a strong protection na eh, 'di ba? You'll have
Mm-hmm.
the emergency fund for critical illness. Your family is to receive a some amount of money in case, in case of you passing.
Right.
And on top of that, nandun ka na rin sa next level. You're already investing na rin at the same time. So, hindi siya gastos actually. It's you're being cost efficient
Mm-hmm.
if you'll think about it. Kasi yun nga, may protection ka na at the same time you're investing. You don't have to spend separately
Yeah.
just so you can have both.
Mm-hmm.
'Di ba?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So these
Yeah.
also come with investments that don't necessarily need to be, personally monitored or handled. Is that right?
Correct.
Mhm.
Kasi not all people naman are paano ba to, knowledgeable in terms of buying and selling stocks.
Right.
No, there are. I think I know a few na they want to deal with stocks on their own. So there are different platforms kasi where
Mm-hmm.
people can buy and sell stocks. No,
Yeah.
different bank platforms, 'di ba? I'm not sure
Yeah.
if you've heard of COL or yung Citisec
I
online.
haven't. I haven't. I haven't.
Ayan. Okay. Basta, there are different digital platforms where the public can actually buy and sell shares of stocks. But
Okay.
that's okay. That's
Mm-hmm.
perfectly fine. So
Mm-hmm.
long as, so long as you know how to do it. Kasi it's
Mm-hmm.
really risky if you'll do
Mm-hmm.
it on your own. Why? It Number one, it takes time to learn. You have to check to sell depending on the current financial situation,
Mm-hmm.
what companies you think are or will be performing in the long run, saan
Yeah.
company kakikita,
Mm-hmm.
di ba? And um, regularly mo siya dapat chine-check
Mm-hmm.
para malaman mo nga kung ready na ba ako to buy or ready na ba ako to sell.
It's,
So,
yeah, for you to find out how it's performing, for you to establish patterns and then strike when the iron is hot.
exactly, that's right. So
Mm-hmm.
again, that's perfectly fine for those who'd like to really learn how to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the things that you
It's just
also.
that for some, consuming.
I see. So this is also one of the things that you do for your clientele. It's to provide them with more than the moves or more than the patterns. It's also the forecasting and foresight. Sa madaling salita, foresight into how this goes and how to actually profit from it by playing the long game and not the short game.
Yes, correct. So we
Mm-hmm.
have our own funds manager
Uh huh.
who handles the investment part. So we do the handling for them. We do the buy and sell for them. So they
Okay.
just simply have to choose what type of fund they would want their money to be invested in, then we do the
Yeah.
rest.
Got it. Got it. What's his or her name? Yung funds
So
manager niya.
eventually they'll just have
Let's say hi.
Well, with Pru Life UK, our let's say hi. Let's say
Yeah.
hi to East Spring Investment, which is based in Singapore.
Hello, East Spring Investment. I love Singapore. I was there February 2018. I would love to go there again, but I'm still saving up for it. Yeah. Hello, East Spring.
Correct.
Ayan. Okay. Okay. So, would there is there anything else that I'm missing here? So we have critical illness, we have emergency funds, we have permanent disability, hospitalization benefits. Um, ano pa ba pinag-usapan natin? Educational
Accident, yeah.
fund, accident, retirement. Tama ba? Retirement. Yeah, we talked about that too. And also investments. Did we cover
Okay.
everything? Yeah. Or is there anything that we
Mm-hmm.
need to
Ayan.
circle back to?
There's there's one more thing,
Yeah.
although very ano na siya, paano ba? Medyo high-end. High-end.
Okay.
Ano,
Okay.
it's what we call estate planning.
Okay. So what's
Okay?
that about?
Um, paano ko ba simulan to? For a person who's alive, no, um, all your properties, all your accumulated wealth, investment, and all,
Mm-hmm.
you call you call that as a whole your assets.
Okay.
Okay. When a person dies,
Mm-hmm.
that becomes an estate.
All right.
Nag-change lang siya ng term. It
Mm-hmm.
becomes
Mm-hmm.
an estate.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, when a person dies, kanino ba mapupunta yung mga napaghirapan niya? All those properties, investments,
Yeah.
and real properties. Sa family,
Sa family, yeah.
sa heirs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. But um, under the Philippine law, the train law,
Mm-hmm.
okay, under the train law,
Excuse me.
before these assets or before this estate gets transferred to the family or to the heirs, they have to settle the estate tax
Mm-hmm.
to the government. Meaning they have to pay an estate tax to the government,
Okay.
which is 6%. 6% of the net taxable estate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
So, I say net because meron din siyang parang tax may non-taxable. Kumbaga may
Yeah, yeah.
exemption, di ba? Yon.
Uh.
So, in computing for the net estate tax, there are some deductions din naman. But there, before everything gets transferred, no, the family would have to pay 6% for the estate tax.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing where an insurance plan comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? How? Sa estate, that includes even the bank account.
Wow.
Yes.
What?
So
Okay.
that
So
gets
you're right
that
kasi
gets
considered siya as
frozen too.
asset. Right. Okay. Right.
Yes. So
Mm-hmm.
that gets frozen too. So you can't say na may pera naman siya sa bangko. So the wife can use that to pay for the estate tax. No. Because again, that gets
What?
frozen too.
Okay. Wow.
Yes.
You learn something every
So,
day. Okay.
yes. Okay. So, if that person who passed
Uh-huh.
has planned for his estate and took out an insurance plan that is at least worth 6% of his total assets,
Mm-hmm.
the insurance is not part of the estate.
Okay.
So the death benefit goes directly to the beneficiary. Let's say the wife.
Okay.
Diba?
Okay.
So automatically, the wife has an available fund to pay for the estate tax.
Okay, okay. Like it's clearer to me now why one should be able to, or one why one should avail of this kind of coverage, and avail of financial planning, consult with a professional, because
Mhm.
I mean, we all want to, like, okay, we all want to make it big. We all want to be somebody. We all want to be successful. And if you are going to be that person, you are going to accumulate wealth. So
Yes.
without proper, like, basically, this is an umbrella. This is literally protection from
Mhm.
the lightning, the rain, the hard winds, or the strong winds, right? That could come even after you're gone. 'Di ba? Like
Yes.
ako ngayon, yung estate tax ng gobyerno, ngayon ko lang nalaman 'yan. Alam mo, parang it's gonna be tough for my family. Like, that's supposed to be for my family, but it's the government. You can't do anything about it.
Correct. 'Di ba? So, sayang yung pinaghirapan mo na I'm sure you planned to, to transfer to your family and to your kids kung
Mhm.
eventually mahuhold lang din just simply because of the estate tax. Maghihirap pa sila just to settle the tax.
Grabe, no? Grabe. Ay, well, Ange, thanks for sharing all of that. More of the Mike Acuna podcast coming to you right after this break. Um, I remember this story that I was supposed to share with you during the first, right after the first break. We were talking about emergency funds and
Mhm.
the lack thereof of emergency funds when Tito Jimmy, your father, needed it most, and your family
Yep.
needed it most. Napaisip ako sa one of my friends passed away recently. This was
Mhm.
about a month ago,
Oh,
and
sorry.
thank you. Pero when he passed on, that was, I think, only months after he got his, desk job, his 9 to 5, his day job, whatever you want to call it. And then nagkaroon siya ng aneurysm. He was hit by aneurysm, and it was only moments.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry, ano lang siya, several moments lang after sumakit yung ulo niya. Dinala siya sa ospital. It was a matter of moments before he was in a coma. So he passed on.
Okay.
Um,
Mahirap talaga
that
for aneurysm.
Totoo. Isa pang traitor yan eh. 'Di ba? You never know.
Correct.
Um,
Biglaan, sobrang biglaan yan.
so eto na, Ange. Ang nangyari was doon sa ospital. I can't say which hospital, not because I don't want to, it's because I forgot. Pero that hospital approached the wife of my friend. Sinabi sa kanya, Mrs.,
Mm.
gusto nyo, ilist down na lang natin siya as a COVID-19 suspect. Not a COVID-19 confirmed patient or death, but a COVID-19 suspect. And then, ito na lang po yung babayaran ninyo. Yung wife, syempre ang gugustuhin niya is hindi cremation. Gusto niya ng burol. Kahit na ilang araw lang yan. Kasi nga,
Mhm.
COVID eh. I mean,
Oo, yeah.
pero, pero dahil sa wala silang pera, dahil sa wala silang coverage, in a time like this that no one expected would happen in this lifetime. Kasi when it rains, it pours. This year
Mm.
opened up
Yeah.
with Taal. Taal, a lot of houses were,
Taal, yeah.
you know, a lot of houses went to shit just because of the sulfur from the
Mhm.
ash. Bumubutas ng bubong yan. Ngayon ko lang
Correct.
nalaman na bumubutas pala siya ng bubong. And then you have all of these things going
Bumubutas
on
yung
in
bubong.
the world. 'Di ba? May forest fires, nagkaroon ng forest fires in Australia, namatay si Kobe
Yes,
Bryant,
correct.
namatay
In the
si,
US.
'di ba? Like namatay si Black Panther.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like all of these things, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you'd sympathize about this when you see this on the news, or when you see this on social media. But when you see someone that you actually know in real life who
That
had,
you know. Yeah.
yeah, who had in theory, he had the liquidity to actually avail of these coverages, but did
Yes.
not think about it. It left it left a lot of pain behind. I mean, of course, people were grieving.
Mm-hmm.
Pero, I mean, if you ask me, alam mo yun, I'm one of those people na ayoko makremate. Alam mo yun, I at least want to be buried with a proper tombstone. And, I mean, that's a man's dying
Mm-hmm.
wish.
Mm-hmm.
Ang dali kasing i-call na
Yeah.
when you're the one who's bereaved, when you're the one who's left behind, na parang may side mo na magsasabi na, alam mo, kung may pera lang ako, alam mo yun, kung may pera lang, kung kaya ko lang, hindi ko hinayaan na makremate yung asawa ko and have him listed as a COVID-19 suspect
Correct.
when he was not. And I think
Suspect.
the
Mm-hmm.
damage kasi is more of the reputation of how you went, of how you passed on. Parang, shit, I don't want
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19 written next to my name in any paper.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's
Mm.
another thing that my loved ones will have to carry for the rest of their lives, regardless of what people say, or
Yes.
regardless of what they say.
Right. Right.
So going back doon sa mga napag-usapan natin when it comes to financial planning and insurance, there are benefits that you can definitely enjoy if you are, number one, playing for the long game. Playing the long game is important.
Mm-hmm.
If you play the long game, you are patient. Tama. You are thinking
Mm-hmm.
about not only yourself. That's for sure.
Yes, definitely. Correct.
Tama. Number two is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong. I also want to gain your opinion on this. I think a lot of people, what stops a lot of people from getting this kind of insurance or this coverage is their inability at the moment, their inability to be clear about what they want. Because you said na parang, what the one question that you ask your clients or your potential clients is, what is your goal? And surprisingly, not a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
can answer that question right away. Tama ba?
Right up. Yeah. Yes.
Have you
Not
experienced
everyone.
Yeah, have you experienced that? Like, how do you go about explaining that? How does it make you feel that you have to explain this
Ah.
much? Yeah.
Well, when I do financial planning kasi, um, to help them, with that financial goal,
Yeah.
nilalatag ko na yung mga common priorities or goals ng isang tao that involve money.
Uh-huh.
So, yung hindi nila naiisip, oo nga, pwede yan. O, ito,
Ah.
pwede rin to. Ganyan. So, from this list, what do you think, based on your current situation, is your number one priority?
Mhm. Mhm.
Then we'll go from there.
Ah. You're right. Kasi a lot of people look at wealth or the accumulation, look at wealth in terms of accumulating, like papasok.
Mm-hmm.
But also
Papasok.
wealth can be defined by elimination, or is actually acquired by elimination, or the removal, the omission of certain things. Like, one of the biggest ones is financial worry, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Kailangan
Yes.
matanggal 'yun. And
That's very important. Yeah.
this is one of those tools that you can use. If you're patient enough, you can actually use this to your advantage and your family's advantage. should anything happen to you, or if you're planning on retiring at this age, or if you're planning for your daughter or your son's tuition fee pagdating sa college or pagdating sa high school. This is really
Yes.
helpful stuff. Really helpful stuff.
It's really a big help.
You think that your family would have had a different result altogether if you had this earlier, if you had access to this earlier?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely. Um, Tulad nga ng sabi ko kanina, if probably we had that money to spend, no, for a brain surgery,
Mm-hmm.
and to extend that money for maintenance after the surgery, pwedeng buhay pa si Papa. You know,
Tama.
he could have attended Ate's wedding, he could have attended my wedding and Aika's wedding. He could have seen his granddaughter.
He could have
We'll never know,
seen,
no?
yeah, Angel graduate and Aaron
Yes,
fly
as
to, like,
to
he
US.
yeah, to the US, no? Is he back yet?
Not yet.
He's still in the US.
Yes, he is still
Hi,
in the US.
Aaron. Aaron, Aika, Adea, Ariane,
Ariane, yeah.
Ara, Angel. Hello sa inyo. One last thing. If there's one thing that you can imagine that would make you stop doing what you're doing right now, knowing that it's fueled by wanting, by a genuine need to help people, if you had a reason to stop, what would that reason be? Take your time.
Can I answer tomorrow? Well, to be honest, I
Mhm.
no longer see myself doing anything else but this. This is what I plan to do for as long as I live, for as long as I can. Doing what I'm doing now doesn't have an age limit,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Kasi it's really more of helping
That's right.
people. It's spreading financial literacy. Wala akong log in, log out sa office. Wala.
Yeah.
Wala
Yeah.
akong retirement age. So long as I can, I'll continue doing this.
And is there anyone that you'd want to thank before we wrap this up?
Maraming maraming pumapasok sa isip ko. Siyempre, support ng family, mama, my husband.
Yeah.
They're all there. Pero um the one person siguro na is worthy of um, this thank you is, naiyak ulit ako, is Papa.
Yeah. Tito
Kasi,
Jimmy.
oo. For the longest time, when ever since he had his stroke,
Mm-hmm.
I had this feeling na he didn't care about us. I don't know what he had in mind before.
Mm-hmm.
I only know what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I only know what I saw, what happened to us.
Yeah.
And that made me feel pain and anger here. But looking back, I don't think I would be here where I am right now if none of those things happened.
I believe that too.
Diba?
You know how I see you,
So,
Angie. how I see you is a person who now knows what heaven looks like because you've gone through hell. And also,
Yeah,
kasi hindi biro yung nangyari sa inyo eh. You know,
sobra.
I was there with you for a good portion of that time. Um, kahit si Tita Beth noon nakakausap ko about her struggles, you know, God bless her. God bless that woman. She is such a fighter. And you know, another thing that you remind me of is a big tree. Is a big tree that namatayog pero you have the 'di ba, you know what they say about the strongest trees, they have the deepest roots.
Yeah.
So, you know, again, I can't say this enough. I have so much admiration for you and everything that you've accomplished from the time that I met you up until now that you're about to become a mother. This is exciting,
Yeah.
an exciting period of your
Yes.
life. This is the culmination of your womanhood, diba? I'm sure the rest of the family is excited. Hindi na si Eli.
Yes.
Is her name Eli? Yung
Ellie.
Ellie, sorry.
Ellie.
Hindi na lang si Ellie may magkakaroon na siya ng kalaro in a few months.
Yeah.
Diba?
Finally, few
In less
months
than a
from
year,
now.
di ba?
Yes.
Yeah, it's exciting. And when it comes to the people who are listening right now, you might have noticed that this conversation has gotten to this length. And thank you for being with us if you're still listening to this. Thank you so much for joining us in this conversation because people nowadays, I'm going to say it, people nowadays tend to be very dismissive when it comes to talks about insurance. But
Yes.
if you
I
are
agree.
if you lived in a time where there was no internet, I think all we had back then was dial-up connections and mga mayayaman lang ang meron nun. Matuwa ka na dati kapag meron kang ISP bonanza. Dial-up pa yun, 30 minutes
Correct.
bago ako mag-connect.
Narinig mo pa yung tu 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 tu.
Yes, yes, yes. It made that sound from the modem. My God. Ngayon, router na. Di ba?
Yeah,
Parang,
from the modem.
yeah, from the
Uh,
modem. If you are still if you're still thinking twice, if you are taking these opportunities, basically, practically, this is an opportunity that is presented to you by a company via the internet. If you're still thinking twice, what can I say? We don't have as much time as we think we do. That's a possibility. There's always a possibility of loss. There's always a possibility of things going wrong at work, while you're going to work, while you're with family.
yes.
I don't mean
On the
to make this
road.
on the road. I don't mean to make this sound dark. Okay, that's not what we do here at the Mike Acuna podcast, but we are about the truth. And this,
Yes.
everything that Angie and I talked about has been coming from a place of we want to be able to contribute to your lives and add value to your lives by explaining to the layman, to someone who doesn't know what insurance is all about, what it actually is about. This is and people have actually benefited from this. You know, you don't hear from them because they're
Mhm.
enjoying their lives. You don't hear about them because they're enjoying their lives. You'll see a lot of stories of this online and from friends. Pero I believe that tonight we've done our part. We've done our best to share with you everything that we can.
Yeah. Yes.
So, Angie, Mrs. Aquino, it's still weird calling you that. Oh my God. Mommy Angie. Mommy Angie ka na in a few months. Um, I thank you for joining me on this podcast. And all the best to you and your family and for what you stand for everything that you stand for. Maraming salamat.
Yeah, thank you also. Thank you for having me here. It's really a great platform for me. No, it's a huge platform for me to reach
Mhm.
out to a lot of people, no,
Yeah.
na especially those who are actually hesitant to speak with a friend
Yeah.
who's a financial advisor.
Yeah.
Marami kaming FO,
Yeah.
yeah, friendship over kapag ka nag-message kami to offer our services
Mm-hmm.
in terms of financial planning. But give us a chance. No, we're not selling. No, we're not
Yeah.
selling. We're here to help. We're
Yeah.
here to help you with your finances. We're here to help you reach your financial goals. We're
Yeah.
here to help you have that peace of mind and financial freedom. Again,
And
sabi ko nga
mhm.
kanina, we can discuss financial planning and insurance the whole day. But at the end of it, it's your decision.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
let us share what we know. Let
Yeah.
us be part of your financial journey. Give us a chance. Ganon.
Give us a chance.
Kasi, yeah,
Yeah.
we're here because we love what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We care about everyone. We care about Filipino families, especially sa mga breadwinners. And personally, even in my page, inexplain ko doon na I'm here to let people know to let fathers know na your children do not have to suffer when
Mm-hmm.
something unlikely happens.
Yes.
It's your choice.
Yeah.
Um, Financial struggles are inevitable. Things happen, emergencies,
Right.
financial struggles will always be there. But suffering from it is optional. And the choice is
I
up to
like
you.
that. I like that. Fathers, mothers, brothers, sisters, wives, husbands, heed her call. She is not talking BS. At kung nakinig nga kayo sa podcast na to, hindi siya, I mean, they make money off of it. Okay, we're not gonna lie. Pero, Angie, the person that I'm talking to right now, Angie Aquino, she's coming from a real place. That's the difference. She actually witnessed and she actually experienced loss without financial planning, without insurance, without any coverage.
Yeah.
They had to liquefy all assets
Mm-hmm.
just to get by. And how
Yeah.
many, like, you don't have to, look, you don't have to have seven siblings. You don't have to have seven kids just to have coverage. You just have to be
Mm-hmm.
smart enough and make that right choice. And if
Yeah.
and also make it a part of caring for your family, because
Correct.
you know what, whether we realize eto pa yun, Angie, whether we realize it or not, whatever we do, here's a great saying, whatever we do echoes through eternity. Okay, there's some of you may say, some of them will say, nah, there's no such thing as, eternity or legacy. Yeah, but whatever you're doing right now, regardless of what it is, the results are going to affect the
Yes.
family and friends that you have directly. If you do something
Definitely.
good,
Yeah.
look, makikinabang din sila. If you do something bad, or if you had a few missteps in life, they're going to be directly affected as well.
Yeah.
Good. And
Comes
I hope
around.
you're right. It does come around. Tama nga, Angie. So, Angie, listen, I hope this is not the last time that I get you on the podcast. And
Sure.
yeah, I would love for like this has been really educational for me. This turned out better than I imagined. And mga kaibigan, si Angie po, she's not necessarily comfortable being in front of the camera. So what she's doing right now
Yeah.
is something that is foreign to her. It's taking a lot from her, and for that, for still going through with it.
Courage.
Courage, yes. For still going through with it, you have my respect. Thank you so much, Angie.
Thank you. Again, thank you for having me here. Till next
Yeah.
time.
Till next time. Before we forget pala, how do they get a hold of you? And should they ask for your help, or they need a point in the right direction? How do they reach you?
Well, yeah, if they'd like to speak with me, consult with anything about what we've discussed, I'm on Facebook. My Facebook page is Money Heights.
Money Heights. How do you spell that? Like heights, tangkad, ganun?
It's Heights.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Okay,
So
okay.
my motto or my motto or slogan there is your ladder to financial freedom. That's why it's Money
Ah,
Heights.
reach your new money height with Angie. Okay, okay.
Instagram is Money Heights also. You'll see
I'm gonna follow
I
that.
think the complete username is Money Heights by Angeline Abanto Aquino.
Ah, okay. Okay. Sige. Let me go check that out. I'm gonna follow that right now. And also, I will have a special announcement about coverage and insurance right after this. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we can't hear you applauding, but please give Angie Aquino a round of applause. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope to hear from you again soon.
Yeah, sure. Feel free to hit me up anytime. I'm just here, Facebook and Instagram. Thank you for your time again, and thank you for all everyone who'd listen.